It's time to check your money with Mike Jennings. Mike Jennings is a wealth advisor with Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Mike Jennings, what's going on, my brother?
I'm doing good, George. I definitely can't complain. I'm not going to complain because I've been asking for some hot weather, and it is here.
Yes, it is.
It is here and in full force this week.
In full
So,
force this week. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yeah.
yep. It's been a little while. Well, not really. I took a break. Yeah, Vicky back
Yeah.
last week.
Vicky came in. Vicky was in the house last week. So,
I know it always feels like when I get my week off, it feels like it's been forever since
I know,
this
right?
has been off
Right.
here.
But
Just
I did
getting
see. Hmm?
I was gonna say I'm just getting used to the program after
Yeah. And I did
after
see you outside, but though I did see you outside, we just
I
didn't.
saw you outside next to a very shiny object. Uh I did see that.
I was so what he's talking about is last week in Syracuse, Mayor Sharon Owens recognized Syracuse native born New York Knicks NBA champion assistant coach of the New York Knicks, Rick Brunson. I say all of that to say, and yours truly got the um opportunity to MC the program, but more importantly, Mike got to hold that trophy in
Hmm.
my hand. That heavy trophy, I got to hold in my hand. It was great. And you want to talk about somebody who was exuberant about that experience? You got it right here. I was really happy about that. It was a great day. And shout out to Mayor Sharon Owens for calling your boy to be a part of that.
Absolutely. It was
Did
a
you have
so
fun? I mean, I guess I'm thinking about how much fun I had. You were in
oh
the
I
crowd.
mean I was just in the crowd. I wasn't up there with the elite people like you. No, but it was a very good event and yeah, it was good. And I was very happy for you.
Thank
Very
you.
happy. I had to snap a pic of you up there.
Yes, and you took some good shots too, shots I didn't have. So, believe me, the poster, I got to figure out how to do it, but the poster blow up is happening, which will be framed. There'll be one here, one there, one everywhere.
Who
But
could blame you? Who could blame you?
I mean, and this is being a diehard, long suffering, emphasis on the word suffering. So this week also, we also learned, Mike, speaking of the Knicks, uh, that two of the people who helped to contribute to the championship are on their way out. So one of the big pieces this past week we learned was Mitchell Robinson, who grabbed the key offensive rebound for the championship game. Anyway, so bittersweet. We won the championship, but we longest tenured Nick, 8 years, and he's gone. So anyway,
Mhm.
but I'm listen, Mike. You know how crazy I am. I'm still watching highlights.
I mean, there's a lot of them. You
I'm
don't you
still
don't you don't
I'm
get
watching.
basketball like that often.
Yeah, I'm watching highlights, the 29-point comeback, the championship game, even some of the post game that I actually missed because there was so many different things to watch. So no, it was
Hmm.
great. It was great.
Yep. Well, I wish we could stay in, the the,
The
the good
euphoria
spirit,
of that.
the euphoria. There you go. But we got to talk about, we got to come here and talk about the financial stuff and everything that's going on and what's really impacting our
Mhm.
listeners and
Yeah,
Americans.
yeah.
So, sometimes that involves talking about stuff that doesn't really give us that feeling of euphoria, right? So, just when an opportunity arises for our elected politicians to put their differences aside and provide true change for Americans, we once again have to deal with the nonsense of, the political games being played at our expense, right? So, last week, we saw the passing of the largely bipartisan supported 21st Century Road to Housing Act, which had combined the elements of the previous Housing for the 21st Century from the House of Representatives and the Senate's reviewing or renewing opportunity in the American Dream. So that's the road part to Housing Act. So this is a huge bill with it was like 18 sections or like over 18 section over 100 subsections. It was a long thing to read. I had to, get a little summary in some parts, but it looked to put into place many things that I'm sure we all would agree would help with, the vast majority of Americans and potentially, our situation right here in central New York. Um, so let's get into it a little bit and talk about some of the provisions in this bill, right? So first of all, the bill starts with Title One for improving financial literacy by evaluating performance of housing counseling agencies and requiring additional training and certification for their counselors. So, that's an A plus. Title Two, so the bill improved the rental assistance demonstration program. And for those that don't know, that program is pretty much the main tool used by HUD, the U.S. Department of Housing, Urban Development, and that allows public housing authorities to convert properties to Section 8, which allows owners to have access to capital funds to improve the property. So the bill was looking to lift the cap, allowing for more capital, and extending more protections to the tenants. The section of the bill also, I'm just quickly go through some of these things. Again, it's a huge bill. Allows HUD to prioritize project in based in opportunity zones, which are basically areas in need of significant housing development. Allows HUD to start a pilot program for grants and forgivable loans for homeowners and landlords to repair the houses, increase the cap on public welfare investments from banks, such as affordable housing and community development programs from 15% to 20%, um, creating an annual $200 million innovation fund, providing a competitive grant program for local governments that demonstrate measurable increases in housing supply and incentivizing reforms like streamlining permitting and zoning changes, stuff like that. Including the Accelerated Home Building Act, which has allowed local governments to select and implement additional housing units designs to streamline. So basically, it's sort of like way, way, way back in the day when
Right.
you could go into the Sears catalog and pick out a prefab house.
Yeah.
It's sort of allowing
Long
local
ago.
governments to have a roster of these sort of prefab designs to basically streamline all of these processes.
Hmm.
A pilot program to help convert vacant commercial or industrial buildings into affordable housing. But again, I could go on, but please stop me when I say something that is not desperately needed for our very own community. And you could have stopped me on the first one. So, clearly the Road to Century or the 21st Century Road to Housing Act passed again with overwhelming veto-proof bipartisan margins, 85 to 5 in the Senate, and 358 to 32 in the House. So
Mm.
very clearly, this is a very a supported bill throughout all of Congress. Um, and obviously, after going, through the process of creating a bill, there was supposed to be a signing ceremony that was scheduled, but President Trump abruptly canceled it. I think he sent out one of his tweets on, or whatever you call those things, Truth Social, saying that he was holding out on signing this bill or even looking at the bill until Congress passes the Save America Act, which for those
Which is the
that
voter ID law, right?
exactly the voter ID, which apparently is supposed to stop this massive fraud that is apparently going on,
That
even though
cost him the
they haven't
election.
they haven't been able to produce actual concrete evidence in the 6 years that they've been claiming it. So I don't, whatever the case may be, that's what he's focusing on. So he called the housing bill's delay and linked it to what he termed this national emergency around. voter
Voter fraud.
voter fraud or voting election integrity. I guess that's the
Okay.
overall thing, right?
Like
Um,
when you call the people in Georgia to ask them to find 11,000 votes. But other ones, okay, go
right, right, right.
ahead.
Oh boy. So while speaking to the press, Trump dismissed the housing. What do you call? He like called it a big yawn or something compared to his Save America Act. About as eloquently as a toddler would.
Right,
So
right, right.
he argued that the real fix for housing is lower interest rates, and it's not going to be this legislation. While also saying he doesn't want to undercut the current homeowners' equity gains, which also it sounds good, but it's a backward way that he's thinking about everything here. He hasn't explicitly threatened a veto. He hasn't really said anything other than I'm not going to look at it. But he declined committing to signing it and saying, how he does his fake up in the air kind of act and say, well, we'll see what happens. Anyway, the issue at hand in passing this bill revolves around this concept of the pocket veto. Have you heard of this, George?
No.
So again, the process of signing a bill into law, right? So it passed through the House, it passed through the Senate, so it gets sent to President Trump. So once formally presented with the bill,
Hmm.
which he was, I believe, on June 25th, um, from there he has 10 days, excluding Sundays, to act on it.
Hmm.
If he does nothing and Congress remains in regular session, then the bill automatically becomes law.
Law. Okay.
But if Congress is fully adjourned during that window, then presidential inaction is instead treated as a pocket veto, which basically kills the bill because when he vetoes it, it's supposed to get sent back to Congress. But if they're adjourned, then there's nobody, quote unquote, nobody there
And they're
to.
going on recess. Oh, they are on
And that's
recess
so that's
now.
the catch. That's the
Right. They're
catch,
on
right?
recess now. They're on
They're
recess now.
planning to go into recess ahead of the Independence Day. Um, but they're also expected to hold brief non-business sessions, which are really designed to prevent a pocket veto from
Pocket
taking
veto from
effect.
taking place.
There's even some people who have the opinion that there's nothing that he could currently do to, even if he wanted to do the pocket view, that's not really available to him because what Congress also does is that they designate agents to receive veto messages during recesses. So technically, there will still be someone there. There will still be someone there to receive the veto message, and that stops it from being automatically going one way or the other, right? So that it's a bunch of legal stuff. I'm not an attorney. None of us here are constitutional attorneys, so that's something that we'll just have to see. But pretty much all signs are pointing to that this is going to be signed into law.
Mm.
Um, so I listed a lot of the provisions in there, um, and you can probably tell from some of them that that they're looking to address things that are clearly being addressed as issues, but there's some people that think it's not is maybe a little bit too wide of a net, right? So,
Hmm.
there's people that criticize the bill saying that, it won't be able to reach the neediest renters, which are the extremely low income renters, right? That they're saying that the bill isn't going to do much for them. Another big provision that a lot of people have been talking about is the investor ban, right? So the
Hmm.
idea that there are these big investment companies, investment firms that are buying up housing supply to either hold as part of their inventory and then sell it off and once they find buyers to sell it to. So there is a provision in there uh, that I believe it's investors are not allowed to have more than 350. I think 350 is the threshold, the amount of properties that they can own. So very clearly, people are saying, a loophole is that a big first investment firm, they can have, a holding company, subholding, subsidiary companies, smaller entities that they could transfer these properties into so that none of them, ever reach that threshold, but they can still own more than what the threshold allows. Um, there's criticism that the federal government has really limited leverage over local zoning and things like that anyway, and that this bill doesn't really do anything to address that. Um, Criticism that it'll take too much time to actually show results from this. And honestly, there's really some people that think that even if all these things are put into place, that the bill itself won't move the needle much at all and really won't do much to change the underlying politics behind the housing crisis, and really all the other interconnected crises that we are facing as Americans. But honestly, this is really a situation that time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens when if it's I guess if I gotta say if it's passed, when it's passed, once these things start getting into place and really seeing what the issue is. But um again, for especially for a place like here, Central New York, where we have this massive investment coming in from Micron, who's still killing, by the way. I don't know if you saw their recent numbers.
Right. And they just made a big commitment to $250. What was that, Mike?
Uh, $250 per for every child under 18 into the Trump accounts. The Trump accounts. So I guess you have to have the Trump account to put your kid into that. So I guess
Oh, I missed that part. Okay.
I guess that's their way of trying to gussy up to the to the
Oh.
guy up there. Yes, that's the stipulation with that. So it sounds good on paper, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see how people feel about that. But overall, whether Micron comes here or not, we are still in the middle of a housing crisis. If they are currently building their fab, so they are here. So, I think it was estimated we need 2,500 housing units per year for the next 20 something years to even be able to catch up to what the expected population boom is going to be. So Micron's here, the people are coming, and we need solutions. And again, the only thing that we can do as far as this housing bill, is monitor the situation and hope it works out for the best. Because whether or not this specific bill will be effective, it's the fact that we need more actions and more ideas addressing these widespread issues that America is facing. We have all of these problems, and it only seems like we continue to keep kicking these cans
Hands
down the
down. No.
road. Um, so I mean, I guess that's the real American story is keep kicking cans down, keep kicking cans down the road. But I mean, let me stop being pessimistic. But until we get people with some good sense in the right places, we have to continue making sure that we at least focus on getting our personal matters in order so that most of us, all of us, we can be in the best position to face whatever comes in the future. So, give your friendly neighborhood advisor a call at 315-748-5540. Again, that's 315-748-5540, or you can send me an email at michael.jennings@brackensfsn.com.
Mike Jennings is a wealth advisor with Brackens Financial Solutions Network LLC and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. He is your friendly neighborhood advisor.